I don't know if his money was really on playing against QXC, and QXC is so weird. It's not like you can prepare for both Zenicider and QXC at the same time. Totally different styles. So probably not too prepared for this. And Kane also, he's kind of a ladder hero. He has one style that he has planned out for every matchup, and he knows how to adapt within that style. But he's not like a creative player. He hasn't played a ton of series. He's not, honestly, that experienced at this kind of format and preparation and whatnot. So I would be surprised if even if he had the time, he really did too much with that. So I think Kane is just going to go in this trying to play his own game, and then it's going to be a matter of whether or not QXC is able to throw him off the tracks.
Well, let's find out, shall we? Here we are on Star Station to the southwest position. This cross spawns only version, ladies and gentlemen, in the red trunks. Playing Zerg, it is Root Kane versus his opponent to the northeast position in the blue trunks, playing Terran, Complexity QXC. I have no idea what Kane is doing. That's wonderful, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's just what we wanted. The wonderful thing about Ally Chat in this version is that we are the only people that have to suffer this nonsense and not QXC.
Lucky QXC.
Yes, indeed. Well, I am really interested to see what Kane decides to break out here. I think your early assessment was definitely correct. I don't expect to see anything funky out of Kane. The style that we saw from him was, I would just describe it as really solid. I don't think there was anything particularly exceptional about it, but there was nothing really wrong with it either. And as a direct result, compared to a player like QXC, who you can talk about QXC's builds, and you can say, well, QXC's the kind of guy that will break out something very creative, something very strange. As a Terran player on North American ladder, he's probably, in my opinion anyway, one of the most creative.
Yeah, definitely. The Mass Widowmine build I mentioned before, that got a ton of hype, but he also has plenty of other weird, funky little stuff. He approaches the game in a very thoughtful manner. He doesn't just copy what everyone else does. He tries to come up with his own different little ways to break the game. So if anyone's going to come up with something weird, it's going to be him. And we see a very fast CC first in the wall in. So we'll see if Kane was actually watching meta and if he's going to do Katz's hatchery block. I would be pretty surprised if he did that, but
it would be pretty hilarious.
He does manage to scout it immediately, which means he could go 3-hash before pool, but actually just opting to put down a pool at the normal timing. So he's not really taking advantage of the fact that he sees CC first at all. It's just kind of strange.
Yeah, it's a little
very
bit
quick gas.
Yeah, I was about to say, it's like, really? What exactly is he going to intend to actually do with that, I wonder?
I'm not sure. Kane, not a gigantic tournament player. We don't see too many public games from him, so obviously I know his ZVZ really well from playing him, but I haven't seen too much of his ZVT. I've heard he likes very fast ultra builds, and so that was kind of why I thought he picked this map. You just do a quick 3-base ultralist timing, you attack their third since it's so exposed with those ultras, and go from there. But a quick speedling opening after scouting CC first, I find pretty strange. Generally, me as a player, I only go speedling if I know that I have to defend their Reaper or quick Hellion build. Against fast CC, I see no reason not to take just as much economy and be as greedy as you can. So I'm not sure if this means that he's going to try some kind of speedling pressure, if it's setting him up for a roach all-in, or if he just likes having those speedlings out for map control as he takes his third. But QXE is going to see it, he's going to know exactly what's coming, and we just kind of have to wait and see what Kane's going to make of it.
Yeah, the speed is coming, and I would tend to agree with your assessment there in the sense that what can speed really gain you in this kind of situation? Not a huge amount. What you are absolutely correct about, by the way, is that he does tend to favor that fast Ultralisk style. We saw exactly that in his games versus Massa, which resulted in a 2-0 sweep. I mean, those games were wild in the sense that it was constant aggression from both sides back and forth, but honestly, the Speedling Ultralisk style that Kane plays, he plays very, very well. He's always taking good engagements, and he's not doing the thing that some players tend to with Ultralisks, which is just kind of charge them into really stupid places where they can't really do anything, and they end up getting stuck against rocks and in bad arcs of fire.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And he was able to control them very, very well. We are seeing a very fast lair from Kane here.
Yeah, I don't know, there's a couple of roach cheeses that have been gaining a lot of popularity recently, a 1-1 speed roach timing, but we see no Evo chamber, so it's definitely not that. Roach Nidus is always kind of a very, very cheesy option. If it gets scouted, if it's denied, that's the end of the game. It has no transition. The more reliable option we could see out of him is a fast 2-base Muta, but his gases are a little bit late for that, and he does just put down a Roach Warren now, so it is going to be some kind of cheesy Roach play. Just immediate speed Roach, perhaps. definitely some kind of weird build. But we just have to see. No fourth gas just yet, so I think it will just be a speed roach all in. And QXC already with that third CC coming down and going straight up to Starport, a couple of Hellions out. He definitely could be vulnerable to this. He's not doing anything like putting down 3 barracks and going straight Marine Marauder. That would just absolutely destroy a quick roach build, but he's not doing that. He is going for tech and fast economy. So if this catches him off guard, it could definitely work.
We're seeing a lot of roach use. It is actually going to be the Nidus play by the looks of it that you mentioned earlier, and this is pretty much all or nothing here. The roach use against Terran has seemed to gain a little bit of popularity lately, and we're actually going to see a bit of mech action here from QXC, but it's gained a bit of popularity lately against Terran, who have gone for that really fast third CC. We've seen Korean Terrans fall to it. We saw, of course, Supper use Roach Bane all-ins to take out Ryung 2-0 in WCS Premier, and it seems to work pretty well because you don't see that large Marauder swell earlier on in the game these days. And there is the Nidus Worm. It is prepared. It's going down in the corner here. It's going to be immediately scouted by QXC. Those 2 Hellions are not enough to actually kill that Nidus before it goes up, though.
Yeah, he pulls the SCVs, but they're a little bit late. He might manage to get roaches out of there. It's going to be really, really close.
Oh, here it goes, and
but he does get it just in time.
Yep, he got a couple out there. The Hellions are getting good shots in the corner here. A bunch of SCVs are certainly taking damage. A second one is coming down. I wonder if he could successfully defend the second Nidus Worm, actually. The SCVs are more worried about the roaches than they are about the Nidus Worm. All the SCVs now coming off the line. And can he get anything out of it? No, he can't, because Nidus Worms are made of paper. And the aggression is now over. How much damage was done? 6 workers killed. For those roaches in the double Nidus, probably not worthwhile. He's going for another Nidus play. QXC is slightly out of range of it. He doesn't see it.
This is the make or break moment. This is the last real chance he has. If it goes on any longer, QXC is going to secure. And QXC actually finds the Nidus Worm, and he's going to be able to take it down. Some roach is going to get out, but he just needs to focus that worm. No, but he's actually scared off. He's going to give it up. And there's not many units at all here. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to hold this point. He really needed to deny that.
He's Nidusing the main as well. He's just repeatedly Nidusing the same targets, and now Kane is just rolling forward all over QXC's base. There's a single Marauder that must be feeling like the most important man in the world right now, but is rapidly going to find out that this is a bad idea. There is a Banshee in the mix as well. That Nidus is now opened up in the main base, and QXC is being overrun here.
Yeah, that's just the end of it. He was supply blocked going into that second attack, so he has almost no units to fall back on. Roach is just in the natural, taking everything out. 2 Niduses up, so even if he manages to take down 1, there's still going to be that influx of units. You know, 2 factories producing, but the Hellions almost do nothing against the Roaches. That's the end of it.
Well, there you go. So this was Kane's map choice. He evidently prepared for exactly this, and it worked to a T, really. What would it have really taken to actually stop that, aside from obviously killing the worms quicker? If there was a slightly different build from QXC, would he have held that any better?
Well, all different kinds of builds can be more successful against that. QXC was honestly being about as greedy as you can be. 3 CCs, then opening up, keeping with the Hellions, not getting any Widow Mines, not getting any tanks out very quickly, heading straight up to Starport. That was basically about as greedy and undefensive as you can play, and I guess he just wasn't counting on Nidus. He was counting on having that rush distance to keep him safe. But the biggest thing was just he needed to target down those worms. If he had caught, because he was very, very close to defending. Honestly, like I said, if he had caught that worm outside his natural just a little bit earlier and managed to kill it, I think he wins, because then he has production going, he has map control, he's stabilized. That was kind of the make or break moment. It just happened to get up in time. He didn't see it quite fast enough, and that was the end of it. But it was a cheese that worked out. It just came down to that.
And that's what people really should be doing in these kind of best-of-5 series, is tossing in something a little bit unusual every now and again in order to throw your opponent off balance. Now it's QXC's map choice, and he has picked Akalon Wastes. I would certainly expect a much more traditional game coming out here.
Yeah, I would imagine so. And the great part about cheesing in the first game in a series is that it messes with your opponent. Like QXC, he's a very creative player, like we were saying. Creative players need to have control of the game more often than not, because they usually have prepared builds. They have planned intelligent things. They're not making decisions like in the moment. You don't want to be able to do that, because it takes much more time. It's less efficient. You're often going to make wrong decisions. So usually you have things planned out. But if then you're thrown off by your opponent doing a cheese the first game, you don't know what he's going to do the next game. And a lot of the time that makes you mess with your game plan to try and accommodate things, and then just nothing works as well as it should. Yeah. So getting that kind of mental advantage early on in a series is just so huge.
And it's going to be great against a player like QXC, who I feel like QXC likes to be the guy who has the mental control over a game and plays the game at his own pace and dictates it, says, I have this strategy and this is how I want to play it, and you're going to have to learn to adapt to me, not the other way around. So that may have thrown him off just a little bit, but I feel his experience will win out there.
I would hope so for his sake, but yeah, you're absolutely right. If you're just a passive macro player and you get cheesed the first game, you're just like, oh well, I'm gonna try and defend that the next one, and I'm gonna keep playing the same thing. But if you're an aggressive player, if you're a strategy-based player, you're like, now how do I have to deal with that? What do I change in my build to deal with that? You know, everything is much more volatile with that kind of a player, and so you have to think more about the interactions instead of just trying to defend it and get into your comfort zone.
Absolutely.
So, and in QXC in particular, he loves those fast expansions, that CC first, the fast tech builds, and all of those builds are very fragile. And it looks like Kane's actually
that's
dropping.
Unfortunate. Yep, that's Kane with an interesting strategy here. We'll see if it pays off for him.
He's trying to ice QXC.
Yeah.
Just mess with his nerves.
Yes, that was unfortunate timing right there. Oh well. Well, I was hoping to try and minimize downtime in this tournament, but it turns out Battle.net definitely doesn't want that to happen, so... Oh well. Well, it looks like we're going to have to go for a remake here. I think it's kicked me out as well in the process, so that was fun. Oh well. We will have a quick break while we reset up the game, folks, and when we come back, it will be Game 2 on Akelon Waste between Kane and QXC. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we apologize for the downtime. It's Battle.net's fault, so you can just send angry emails to Blizzard. Yeah, just do that. I'll be fine. They'll love it.
Oh, I just got dropped now.
Oh, for crying out loud. Just... Oh man, yeah, we lost one of the Argentinian commentators as well. So, and I just got dropped as well. Battle.net is a fun place. It's a great place to frolic and have enjoyable games. And the best and most challenging StarCraft thing is to actually get into a lobby and have it stay there. But, oh well. We'll wait for the 4th or 5th remake, and then we'll see where it goes. Greg, can you relog? Apparently that relogging does help this issue, so we'll try and get this sorted out momentarily. Well, in the meantime, Kane currently leads 1-0 against QXC going forward here. QXC caught off guard by certainly a cheese, a very, very good cheese, but a cheese nonetheless. And I don't think that's really indicative of how this series is going to go. Acheron Waste, it seems like it will be a much more straight-up map to play on between these two, and let's see if QXC can try to dictate the tempo here. The last thing you want is to be unbalanced by some weirdness from your opponent.
Yeah, this is his map choice, so he's certainly comfortable with this, and I'm honestly kind of worried that he's going to be doing that very turtleneck style, because if there's ever a map built for that, it's Acheron.
Yeah.
With those 4 easy bases, everything can be controlled by like 1 or 2 tanks on the high ground, and then pretty good drop harass opportunities against your opponent as well. The bases are also like close by air, far by ground, so I think we could definitely be seeing that kind of play out of QXC.
Wow.
But then maybe Kane is just going to Rotinitis him again and not let him get to that point.
Oh man, if this went 3-0 with 3 Rogenitis, I think I just have to flip a table and just quit casting StarCraft 2 altogether. It's like, you know guys, this is, I understand the whole you've got to win thing, but Jesus, can we have something different?
Yeah, I'm almost sure we will. Kane is very much, he's willing to mix in cheese, but he also plays macro games quite a bit, more often than not. He's not like Hello Kitty or anything like that, so I would be very surprised if he tried something like that again. But maybe it is mind games. Maybe he knows that QXC plays weird and he doesn't want to let him get into that situation.
Alright, we're going to give the lobby like a 5th or 6th attempt here, and we'll see how it goes. We've had pretty much everybody relog. See if that'll fix it. If not, then there will be unfortunately more downtime as we try to wrestle with the beast that is Battle.net. Alright, do we have anybody? Yeah. Foreign casters, yeah, we're just waiting for the other foreign casters to actually get in here, unfortunately, as the admin says. They do tend to miss the remake message. GameHard does actually have one annoying problem in that in the lobby, the text disappears too fast, so you can't actually read the chat log. Not really sure why that's there.
Is the disconnect thing a GameHard issue or a Battle.net issue?
Seems to be a Battle.net issue as far as we can tell. It's been happening quite a bit for a couple of different tournaments, which is why you're seeing a lot of downtime. GSTL actually had a ton of downtime yesterday, and I believe it was as a direct result of that.
That's unfortunate.
Indeed.
But it looks like it's starting now, and we kind of have it for all.
Yeah.
For the time being.
That'll be nice, yeah. If we're missing one of the players, we can just sub in one of the foreign casters. I'm sure they'll do fine.
Right. Or I can just go back to playing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It's like Idra plays the winner. Great tournament idea. Okay. There we go. We are in. Please, for the love of God, do not disconnect this time around. I've been on this versus screen for the past 4 minutes, and don't get me wrong, it's a cool, damn cool looking versus screen, but there's only so much I can stare at that Ultra. It's scaring the hell out of me. Alright, QXC and Kane, they are racked up and ready to rock and roll. Let's do it. Go, go, go. Please work. Please don't die. And here we are. Huh.
I still have not dropped. You can't breathe cyber relief yet,
nope.
just yet.
Nope.
You dropped it 2 last
3,
time.
2, 1. Ah, excellent.
And we made it.
Yeah. Now that you're getting into the casting gig, you now understand the most challenging thing about casting is more often than not actually getting into the map.
Yeah. Oh yeah, talking about games easy. I've been learning this for like 5 years. It's filling the downtime that sucks.
Yeah. That's the real problem, isn't it? Especially when you get into a tournament where something's going horribly wrong. It's like, well, my keyboard's broken. We're going to do 20 minutes readjusting it. Well, let's talk about the bracket. It's like, let's show the bracket again. God, it can get really, really unfortunate really quickly. I do always feel very much for both the tournaments that have to fill the downtime and the casters that end up being stuck on the spot trying desperately to entertain the audience.
Much more for the casters. It's pretty easy for the tournament to say, okay, go talk for an hour. It's the people who actually have to do it.
Yeah, that's very, very true. We don't get paid extra for that kind of thing. Alright, here we are. Acheron Wastes, ladies and gentlemen, as Kane serenades us once again. He can't spell, so it's not going all that well for him. Northwest position on Acheron. I don't even know what that is, and I don't want to know.
That's Korean.
Yeah, it is Korean, but I wonder what it says. These better not be K-pop lyrics.
I didn't know you could do that.
He must have copy-pasted that. There was no way in a million years he can type Korean that quickly.
No, I didn't know you could copy-paste Hangul in BattleNet, though, like with the North American version.
That's interesting. Well, we learn something new every day. All right, folks, here we go. Red Trunks are on Kane today. He is the Zerg player to the northwest position versus his opponent, who took a bit of a rocking in the first game thanks to some nice, delicious Nidus cheese. It is Complexity QXE playing Terran in the blue.
And actually going for CC first again on the low ground this time, so deciding that it wasn't quite risky enough last time.
No.
Go whole hog this time.
Yeah, the QXE actually did CC first like 3 games in a row against State and ended up losing 2 games to 1. And immediate harassment is going to happen. This is why I'm really, really confused that he was going for that in the first place. It seems like so easy to harass that if you actually drone scout. I wonder if he was banking on that not happening.
I don't know, but double CC is definitely his go-to build. I'd say 70-80% of the latter games we play, he does open CC first, and then just the occasional Reaper to mix it up and keep his opponent honest. And actually, we see a very fast gas from Kane again, so it could be another cheese. Because there's almost no reason to go Speedling against CC first unless you want to do something cheesy. Because you don't need Speedlings to defend anything, and any good Terran will have a wall up to prevent, or at least a bunker up to prevent Speedling harass. So if he's not going to transition into some kind of 2-base again, I'd be very, very surprised.
Well, I wonder if QXC is actually going to go for the triple CC build, and I kind of hope that he doesn't, especially considering what he did here. Going for that CC first on the low ground, not even part of the wall-off. He has taken gas, though.
Yeah, he has. So definitely going to go mech again. Well, not mech again, but definitely going to open up with at least a factory. Not going to go a bunch of barracks, which is kind of the safer route.
Yeah.
If you're going 3 barracks, if you got some Marauders out, you're not going to die to anything early on. But then, of course, you don't have the map control and the harass potential. So pretty much no one does that. And that's what makes those Roach builds so powerful within the current metagame. And then the thing, no second gas just yet, so it's not going to be some kind of super fast tech out of QXC. Just waiting to see if he's going to put down that 3rd CC or not, because that's going to be, you put down that 3rd CC, you're going to be pretty vulnerable to a lot of things, especially because he hasn't SCV scouted just yet, so he doesn't know that Kane is going Speedling. He'll know in a second, but doesn't know just yet.
Yeah, and he might actually not even get into the base. It depends if that Queen's in a good position. He's already taken some damage from these Lings. When he makes this turn, he's going to take 2 more hits. QXC's actually heading over to look and see if there is a quick 3rd base. Which,
yep, this is actually pretty smart by him. He knows that by going this late, the Queen's already going to be out. He's not going to get into the main, so he's just checking both 3rd base opportunities. He sees no 3rd base. He knows that it is a Speedling opening without actually having to get in and die.
Very, very cool. And QXC now setting up the defensive position in the same way. Kind of the more old school style of bunker placement there so that it denies an awful lot of Speedling coverage. Makes it a little bit more difficult to take down. And now we're going to see what comes out of this. We have a starport coming down. We've got double Hellion coming in as well. So a number of different possibilities available here. And a second gas coming down here for QXC as well.
Yeah, definitely opening up more conservatively. You already had the 3rd CC started by this point in the last game. We're just going to have to see if that starport's going to be for medevacs. It is going to be a Hellbat drop then. Yep. And also he's going to have those Hellbat drops for defensive necessary. But looking back at Kane's base, Kane has actually just put down that 3rd base. Not going any kind of super fast tech. I would have to imagine that this is mind games then, because QXC sees those Speedlings, he sees that delayed 3rd, he thinks he's going to cheese me again, he saw double CC, he's going to open that way for a reason. And then Kane just goes ahead and puts down that 3rd command center. So he now has a little bit of an economic advantage because he's putting down that 3rd base and QXC has forgone the 3rd CC for now. And now it just becomes a matter of whether or not Kane can actually defend that Hellbat drop efficiently. And the answer, of course, is going to be no, because Hellbat drops have never defended efficiently.
Now, I'm not going to disagree with you, considering that my ladder ranking has shot up significantly since the Hellbat was introduced into the game. But one way or the other, it is extremely difficult to say that a Hellbat drop isn't efficient, because it generally involves dedicating 200 minerals. Unless you lose the medevac, you're pretty much gonna get what you need out of that. Kill 4 drones with that, and you're pretty much golden. A Roach Warren is being added on here. I noticed that Kane is really, really delaying lair tech. Even adding on a Baneling, that's 11 Roaches coming out here.
Yep, it's going to be a Roach Bane all-in. Not as all-in as it could be, given that he does have that 3rd hatch that he can establish behind it, but definitely going to be a big, heavy attack. And if we look at QXC's base, he has that 1 bunker that's pretty exposed. Banelings can get to it, Roaches can get to it. Then he has 4 Hellions. And those 4 Hellions aren't out on the map. Those aren't controlling the Zerglings, so it's entirely possible with Banelings right there. But at the same time, we do have a Hellion drop coming in main. Those aren't Hellbats yet, though. And there's a Spore Crawler, pardon me, in the main.
Nice
So
traditional Hellion drop here. And that'll do a pretty decent amount of damage. He is going to lose the medevac in the process, but he did get a lot of drones with that shot.
Yeah, really sloppy loose in the medevac, getting a ton of drones, and at this point Kane is pretty much all in. That's a ton of drones down. But if you look at the army size and you compare to QXE, he's now getting Hellbats out. He does have a tank on the way. The tank is a very big deal, because obviously it comes with Siege now, and he's evacuating the SCVs from his natural. Really smart move by him, getting them on the wall to help hold that off. And the tank is back. They're going to siege up. And he actually gets in there and he takes down the depot, and he's going to get in and be able to connect with the tank. And it looks like QXE is going to have a really hard time holding this off.
Yep, the tank's about to die as well. There's really no units aside from those couple of Hellbats coming in. If he can keep producing Hellbats and hold on efficiently, maybe he gets out of this. This is not the time for QXE to lag out.
Oh, boy.
This is definitely not the time for QXE to lag out at all. Man.
So, that situation, there's no Banelings left, I believe.
No, all the Banelings are down. There's 12 Lings following this up. There is a Banshee. Another tank's about to pop out, and he's working on +1 a couple of Hellbats. If he doesn't lose too many SCVs here, considering the significant damage that was done to his opponent's economy, maybe he gets out of that. But this is really annoying. Obviously, resuming from replay here is actually going to be ridiculously difficult, because if we resume before this fight happens, we basically give them both a do-over, which...
Yeah, I'm not sure how precisely you can do it, but you really should do it at least after he blows down the wall under the ramp and gets in there and kills the tank. Because at this point, I think QXE is actually going to clear that up, and then it's just a matter of holding the follow-up lanes, like getting his Marines back into bunker in time. Because those roaches, I think, will die to the Marines and the SCVs.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right there. The Marines are on the low ground there as well. The Roaches are for the most part surrounded. The Hellbats, even though you say, hey, the Hellbats, they're not that good. Well, they are if Roaches are clumped up, and they take a little bit of time to kill as well. With the second tank coming out, assuming that it doesn't pop out into the middle of the Roaches and can actually get behind the factory, then that should be a cleanup. This is going to be very, very tricky to do, and this will take a little bit of time because we have to time it specifically in the way that you just described, and the lobby at the start actually counts as game time in the replay. So what's going to have happen is we're going to have our admin watch the replay, and then he is going to have to determine the precise timing at which he will have to start the game up, and we're going to have to not fuck it up. So this is going to be fun. You know, as nice a feature as that is, that was perhaps the worst possible disconnection time I've seen in the past, 2 years of StarCraft. Oh,
yeah,
man.
That was pretty bad.
Yeah. That's a really hard call to make as well. If you were to make an admin call there, you can't...
I don't think you can. That's right at the tipping point.
Yeah, it is. Worst timing.
If those Roaches manage to get away from the SCV surround and get into the main, then QXE is totally off balance. Zerglings are streaming into his natural. He has to defend one place or the other, and he's going to take game-ending damage at wherever he doesn't defend. But if he keeps the SCV surround, then all the Roaches die. This isn't all in with all those drones down, and then QXE wins pretty easily. So it's right at the tipping point. It couldn't be any worse.
No, it really, really could not be any worse. So we are going to see whether or not this tournament will go down in history as an excellent use of resume replay or the biggest screw-up that we've had so far in Heart of the Swarm. Right, okay, so we're going to have to make this work. We're going to have our admin check the replay. Apparently, QXE's entire connection went down. That was not just the drop from the game. He lost connection to the internet entirely. We're going to have to take some downtime while we fix this, folks. Thank you very much for your patience, and we will be right back as quickly as we can.